Good evening, everyone. It is approximately 10 minutes after 5 on the 28th of November, 2017. My name is Michael DiCarlo, and this is DiCarlosDanger.com. Today, I'd like to first give a shout out to some folks I've been watching on YouTube. They've been doing a really good job. The first one would be Rob Lee. The other one would be Bar None. Good job. Bar None 11970, excuse me. Steve Motley's been knocking on the park. Way to go, Major. And Destroying the Illusion. This young kid's got this stuff together. If any of them, the last one too, for spirituality and everything, just trying to see things for what they really are instead of how you've been told they are your whole life. Just exchanging ideas, uplifting humanity. Really enjoyed some of his videos, quite a few of them, matter of fact. I'm sure I've missed a couple of you, especially, Seeking the Truth. Been following you for a long time. Good job. Well, anyway, what's been going on today that I've seen in not on the news because I don't watch television unless I have to, unless the Buckeyes are on TV or the Indians are in the World Series, or I need some entertainment. That's what I watch television for, is entertainment. I don't look at it for a source of information because I fail to grasp how people feel that they are dictated, especially for where we live, so close to the international border. Why I understand they feel the financial influence of the decisions that are made in DC, but as far as the influence they have on my life, sorry, I played my cards better than that. I don't need your current day influence. I lifted the yoke when others refused to lift it for themselves. So now I'm on the receiving end of the trough, and it's really funny that I live here because Sierra Vista was established to defeat the Soviet Union. Not really established. It was one of the last few places on the continent where the United States Army actually defeated the Apache Indian. And this was actually, I want to say this is part of the Gadsden Purchase. So this was actually the east-west southernmost railroad that could go on all year round. So they wouldn't have any snow blockades to be able to supply California. But North Korea launching missiles. Wow, don't you think that instead of us having photographs of it, it'd almost be like better to see somebody from Japan reporting on this in their version of CNN? It would lend more credibility to it, is all I'm saying. When you have the same people telling you the same story over and over and over again, and the only thing I'm off is like a week, 10 days on when this stuff's going to happen. It's almost as if I'm turned over an old style LP, 33 and a third, and went from side 2 back to side 1, and I'm starting this stuff again. It's back to when I was really sharp and I understood a lot of stuff on how the pieces, parts were moved in that part of the world, on how in furthering the mission of the United States Navy, of course. Let me see here. Taxes in the budget. Republicans are pushing for tax reform, and they're doing it before we even pass the budget. They're going to push the tax reform. They're going to say, they'll save X amount of dollars for each person. I agree with all. I think taxation is theft, so the more money that people get to keep for themselves, the better off I'm with any decision on that end. As far as the budget, how they pass the budget, and this is the part where everybody's going to miss it, is that it's going to come down to the defense budget, and they're going to say you don't support your troops and la 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 la. Well, you know what? There's a difference between supporting your troops because you want everybody to be able to the best, most well equipped when they go out to fight a war for you, because you refuse to do it yourself. Politicians that never served kind of make me want to vomit. But when they pass the defense budget, you're giving the federal government the authority to spy on you. You are. Do some research on that. Truth Stream Media would be a great place to do some research on that. Sorry, I missed the folks earlier. And when we go to budgets, they're always going to be the defense budget's going to be the biggest thing that they're going to push forward first, because that's what everybody has. It's one of the very reasons we have federal government, is for defense, right? Common defense. And you'll see that they'll push it, and that's what they'll do. They'll call you weak on this, weak on that. But even the folks that, even on the Democrat side on this, they're not against it for the reasons I am, because they want to know all your information so that they can control you better, to take more of your property in your transactions. Whereas I would like you to have the liberty to do whatever you want with your own property as you have acquired it for yourself. So therefore, what business is it of mine on what you do with it? All right, shifting gears here for the last few moments. And shifting gears here for a moment. Gonna put my other thinking cap on, a little less official. A little bit, my Colorado special, we'll call it. On the back here, I got I've had my dolphins back there. I put them on there a few months ago. It's almost like having my eyes in the back of my head to get my intuition back a little bit. So it's almost like using the force. And I put some poppies around there about 3 weeks ago from the VFW here in Sierra Vista. And some of you may not have known, but the country of Argentina lost one of its submarines at sea a week ago. To the members of the San Juan and their family, I feel like I'm a part of that brotherhood of being a retired submariner, hence the Dolphins. There are very few of us that understand the risk involved in doing what we did, because no one else. It's because others refuse to learn, because they refuse to lift the yoke for themselves. I have nothing but respect for other submariners in the world, in a different country, no matter what flag you fly under. And I hope that the Lord gives you and your family the peace and solitude you deserve, and the rest, that you rest in peace. And in that, we'll give this Jack Herrera try from Vapin product here. I've had it one other time. Give it a try here, see what kind of flavor we got. A little bit of a citrus. Nice flavor. Nice flavor. And with that, folks, it's Michael DiCarlo signing off for now. Wishing you and your loved ones all the peace and happiness in the world. Recently, I've discovered that a lot of the stuff that I think or have been thinking, I've been writing it down just to prove to other folks that I'm not crazy. When I'm like, yeah, I thought about that before, and this is the way you fix it. I haven't figured this one out, but it's kind of makes sense. Starts off points. It's about points. Points of circumstance, point of consequence, point of coincidence, point of origin, point of continuity, point of inconsistencies, points or point of conspiracy. Then on the side, I have over here transistor from tube, chip from transistor, and or into an and or, nor, giving everyone the what for. And I'm reminded of conversations I had with my grandfather, he passed away. 1989. January of 90. I was in the Navy, I was in sea school, so it'd be January of 90. But he would tell me, you're creating all these different things, and we've had things like this that we've already had, but yet they'll make them so they don't last as long, so you have to go buy them. And when you buy them, you're in a never-ending cycle, because the stuff that you purchase is only going to be good for so long. Nothing's made to last anymore. And we saw that example in the 70s when the Japanese car industry came into the United States automobile industry, and everybody says the Japanese cars were smaller. Well, if the cars were smaller, there was less iron to rust, and if there's less iron to rust, they were cheaper, to make rust free. That was actually pretty logical to me, but everybody said they were smaller and more fuel efficient. What it was is that the United States was building quality vehicles, their tolerances were just too big. And tolerances such as how much undercoating goes in a car that's going up north to put salt on the road and stuff like that, and how long they're going to last. Everything's an appreciating product or value. So thinking about those things there, trying to figure out that together. But then I wrote that down, and you end up with this Q guy in 4chan that Steve Motley's talking about, and a bunch of other folks are talking about. And he's got, the way he's posing his questions, and I'm with Steve on this, he has a lot of credibility in my eyes. And and everybody else is talking, I think he's a submariner. I do. And if not, he knows people or thinks like one. Makes sense. But anyway, or retired submariner, or somebody that always wished he was going to be on a submarine. I don't know. But this 4chan guy, or the Q at 4chan, he's asking some really honest questions. He's not violating any ethics. He's just leading the people to water. And if they want to drink, let them drink. Please drink. It's a free society. There's libraries in every town. Go read books. Learn about science and how social engineering actually exists. How geoengineering actually exists. They've existed for a long time. It's nothing new, folks. Excuse me. Now, there's a lot of weird things. Not weird. The world is upside down. I mean, I found out today that Arby's bought Buffalo Wild Wings. That's right, folks. A fast food restaurant bought a beer joint. Never thought that would happen in my life. No wonder Zzz's Big Top in Avon, Ohio has been up for sale. They saw the writing on the wall. They got the best wings in Ohio, but they're going to get bought out by Arby's. But good news is there'll be an Arby's right around the house from where my mom's house is. My dad, again, turns over on his grave. Oh, Lord. There's not going to be an Arby's there yet, but there might be. You'll never know. There might be a fast food restaurant there, though, because they are selling the joint. All right. So, yeah, North Korea messing around to disturb you, to keep you in fear. I'm not saying don't fear North Korea, but do your homework on it so that you understand who, where, what, and how a government that allows its people to starve when it's right next to one of the richest nations in the world, in China, how that would happen. And look at the pattern of how the United States has allied itself with tin pot dictators in the past. Not aligned itself with it, but actually have. I wouldn't even say aligned it. I'd say they established them in the past. I mean, that is history. It's even written down. It's almost like the war on drugs. The war on drugs is a war on poor people. War on poor people that they hurt, right? So they go to the doctor and they get addicted to or they get these pain prescription, and they're poor. They can't go to work anymore, so they can't afford their insurance, or they can't afford the copay for the prescription, or somehow they can't. It's cheaper just to get it somewhere else. It's more cost effective to get it somewhere else. And when these people make these decisions to save themselves money that they're forced to go on the market in exchange with others, they can get it somewhere else cheaper. They're making you're calling them criminals just because they're doing something more cost effective to save themselves money. That it's starting to turn my stomach. In that, the DEA says synthesized cannabis is legal and supports it. And one of the companies that's going to make it was one of the pharmaceutical companies that was against the legalization of cannabis in the state of Arizona last election cycle. I went to the ballot. These things don't make sense unless you sit back and push back from the trough and see the system work in front of you. But in order to do that, you must know where your next meal's coming from for a while. Because I'm going to tell you, either they take it from your mouth on the way in, or they make sure that you got nowhere to get rid of it on the way out. That's the way life works. As long as you got food going in your mouth and somewhere to take the waste that goes away, and you're able to be alive, that's really all you got to do. That's all you really have to have in life. All the rest of it's just accoutrement or dressing, salad dressing. I don't know.